All right, welcome. It is Jeff Nell with Jeff Nell Fishing and Guide Service, and we're about to enter the month of October. And I think I'm going to start doing these videos to kind of cover the baits that I'm most likely going to throw over the next month. So October is one of those interesting months on Lanier. It is a time of transition where we're still catching fish using summertime baits, and then we're also going to transition into some more stuff that we're going to be throwing later on in the year. I eat basically all three areas of the water column. So the top third, the middle third, and bottom third. And these baits will represent at least some of what I'm going to throw in all three of those columns. And there's definitely stuff I'm going to have on the deck. As you can see, most of it's already tied on right now anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the top of the water column. And that, for the majority of October, if I can catch them in the top of the water column, that's where I'm going to catch them. I'm going to focus on that with a number of topwater baits and a couple subsurface baits. So as far as topwater baits goes, I want a variety of sizes and action. So I'm going to go everything from, a small little bait up to relatively large ones, and then from walking to chugging and everything in between. So we're going to kick that off with the cast OG is something that'll be on here for the next month or so. On days when we have really high wind, is when I'm going to throw this. So the color is going to depend on the cloud conditions. This is a bone one, which is good in low light conditions. I have other shinier ones to throw when the sun is out, and I'll do some variations thereof. But this bait excels in heavy winds when a lot of this other stuff does not really do that well. You can still bomb this a mile. It does extremely well on large spotted bass. You can cover a lot of water. And you can do it really quick. This is the 20-gram one, and this is in the bone series. So this one will be on there. Moving up next is some sort of a walking bait. This one is from Spro. It's about 105 millimeter size, so it's not really huge, but it's not really small. So when the fish are keyed in, and you don't really know exactly what size bait they're keyed in on, this one can be good. It's extremely loud. This one is in chrome. And think more sunny days with chrome, but that's not always the fact. The last couple of days has been very cloudy, and I have excelled with a chrome color. So some sort of a walking style bait that you have a lot of confidence in. Other variations would be like a 95 series gunfish, Spook Junior, whatever you have confidence in that walks. There you go. As far as the smaller side of things go, we're going to go with the standard size chug bug, and this is also going to be more of a popping deal. This one's in chrome and blue. The Spro E-Pop is another very good version of this. And I will work through all of these to figure out what the fish prefer on any given day. One day they may prefer this. One day may prefer a walking bait. The next day they may prefer something completely different. So it's kind of going to be a variation of what they're wanting and cycle through on any given day. So a chug bug is another deal. And this is the medium-sized one. The big saltwater version is a great one when you have really high wind as well. That'll supplement the OG as far as when you get really high winds. The next on the list, we're going to go even down a size even smaller, and that's my old buddy, which I'm a huge fan of, and this is the Jackal Riser. So this is the small 007 version. I know it doesn't seem like much, but this is absolutely deadly in the fall, particularly when it get keyed in on the small bait. It's only about 1.5 inches to 2 inches long. This is absolutely deadly. It can work in wind. It can work when it's slick out. It does not matter. As long as the fish are up in the water column, this is a viable option, and it's something I will continue to throw for the rest of the month. So now thinking slightly subsurface, but still in the top third of the water column. This would be the Spro Sashimi. It is a hard jointed swim bait. It's actually 4 sections, so three cuts in it. This is, think windy days is another one when this shines. So, but not just over brush, like wind-blown banks, wind-blown points. This can be extremely effective when the fish have, in the wind, have the bait pushed up very shallow or they're busting on the surface. This will come into play. If they're a little bit deeper down in the water column, it's hard to beat. The old 1/2 ounce mini-me spinner bait. I have 3 colors. I have a white, I have a lavender shad and a one that has white with some chartreuse in it. And then I either go clear or painted blades depending on the cloud conditions. I can let this one sink down to the fish. So if they're down 5, 6, 8, 10 feet, but they don't want to come all the way up in the water column, that's when I'm going to throw this, and I'm going to try to swim it right above them and then hopefully trigger some strikes with that. Moving down into the water column, this is a bait that I will start throwing in October in the mid water column, and then I will transition to throwing this on the bottom as we get into December, and that is the 2.8 Kitech on a little guppy head. So this one is on a 3/16 ounce head, and this is on like high pressure, low wind days when the fish are in the top of brush piles, but they won't come out. I'll start throwing this over and very lightly swimming it right over top of the brush pile. Other variations of this can be a 3-inch cast echo on a spot choker underspin can do the same thing, or even a cast Prodigy will work as well. It's funny, one day they'll prefer to Prodigy, one day they'll prefer to Kitech. I just happen to have this one sitting here handy today, but that is something I will start throwing now, and this will become the focus as I get into December. Lastly, we're going to talk about the bottom of the water column, and that would be as the lake starts to turn over, you're going to find areas where the fish start oriented more down rather than up, and that's where the soft plastics come back in, your jigs come back into play. One that I've already started having success on is a Nico rig Cinco, and I am using this around some docks right now, but I'll also use this, around rock in areas where there's big schools of fish that I would also throw all this other stuff, but they may not want to come up. Then they're being extremely lethargic. That could be due to high pressure or the fact that they've just been pounded on all day. I will also work this in as well. So I think rocks, docks, the edges of brush piles, that you're kind of not really limited as to where you can throw that. But the Nico rig, a shaky head with your favorite worm, and even a jig will come back into play. The last thing that I do not have out right now, but I will mention, a crankbait will start to come into play, particularly early in the morning, around rocks and points. And you can throw the crankbait early in the morning and then transition to the top water stuff once the sun gets out and gets the bait up higher in the water column. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out. We have a great month out on the water, and I will be back with another one of these videos leading into December. I'm going to skip November, but I'll be back with December for another one of these. Thanks.